Alright, guys, so this is Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse. Um, my favorite Castlevania game in the series. This is actually the first one that got me into the game series. Um, I remember I was, I think 9 or 10 when I first played this game, and I had the biggest crush on I think she was a high schooler at the time. Uh, she introduced me to the game, and I was like, oh my goodness, this this hot woman is playing video games with me, and I was like, oh, this is great. Um, but it was like the greatest night of video game playing because I had never played this game before, and she, she introduced me to Alucard, and I was just like, wow, you can be a vampire bat on this game. Uh, you know, you can whip skeletons and zombies, and I mean, I had never uh, thought of a horror type game for the NES. Um, but it was one of those. This is such a contrast to the Mario games. Uh, it was to me. It's just like, wow, this is cool. So anyway, this was always, um, Super Castlevania is the better of the games. Symphony of the Night is the all-time best Castlevania game. But to me, this is my favorite, uh, especially for the NES. So that being said, I'm going to play through the first level and either die or beat it the first level. So um, that being said, here we go. And anybody who wants to cheat on this game, if you want like 10 lives, just type in one word, help me, and you'll get 10 extra lives on the game. Usually that's how I go through this game, but I'm not going to this time because, like I said, I'm going to go through, until I die for the continues or until I beat the first level boss. And like the thing I like about this game is it adds upon the very first Castlevania game because this is actually Trevor Belmont. It's not Simon Belmont. And he looks, I mean, it's identical to the very first look of a Castlevania game. Trevor, at least, looks like Simon Belmont. Um, and it takes place 100 years before Simon in the first one. So I like the fact that this was a prequel, which was kind of, I mean, it was unheard of at the time. It was kind of rare. I mean, now they do it like all the time. Fucking skeleton. It's hard to see because my camera's in the way. But I like the fact that they did something that was a little different, but it was such a throwback to the original. Because Castlevania 1 was a great game. Castlevania 2 was very different, but very much expanded upon that world that it was so different in the very first. It's very very different than the first game. I mean, you could go literally like anywhere. So this one it was very much a throwback to the original game. Where you kind of had to go. You had your boss fights and everything. It had the feel of original Castlevania game, from look to gameplay and everything. I mean, you look at the texture of the city and everything, and it just looks great. You know, it has that classic horror vibe, you know. And again, like at the time, this was really, you know, this was unheard of, you know. I mean, I guess you had like, you know, Michael. Fuck, see, because my camera's in the way. It's hard to, it's hard to see some of this shit. I guess I got to get a better setup because I got like two camera system. You know, kind of ghetto, but you know, it works for what I have. Not the best system, but you know, I guess since I'm not trying to do like full playthroughs, you know, it works. But I'm not worried about being the best player for the games. But I mean, you had games like you know, Nightmare on Elm Street and you know, the Jason games. You know, I guess games. Nothing like this. You know. This guy's not. Like I said, the games are always fun. You know, the bosses are usually once you find the kind of rhythm they go in there, they're pretty easy. You know, but there we go. So all right, that's the first level, and it's a pretty easy game, pretty fun. So yeah, it's worth, you know, like I said, it's my favorite on the NES games. Super Castlevania is better. Um, you know, I think the best one is Castlevania Symphony of the Night for PlayStation. But for the NES, I think this is probably the best one. You know, you can choose. You know, if you want to go down, you can go that way. But you know, what will eventually be Sypha. If you go up here, eventually you can choose to take Grant with you. My favorite character to take with me is Grant. Eventually, you can take Alucard if you choose. You know, or you could choose to go with none of them. But I mean, that was, you know, for the game for the NES. You know, to choose to take a partner with you. That was rare. Um, you know, at least for type of game system like this. Um, you know, that was unique at the time. You know, it was kind of merging several things. You know, kind of side scrolling with you know kind of partying up people. The genre was doing. You know, as you can see, it's obviously a Castlevania game. You know, it's famous now, but back then it was kind of learning. You know, it took the classic elements of Castlevania, um, took some of the things that was you know did work good in Castlevania 2, you know, got rid of the stuff that didn't quite work so well in Castlevania 2. It just took the best elements and made it into this game. That's why I think it's the best one out of the NES series. I recommend anyone who loves just good adventure games. I think this one's probably one of the better ones for the NES. So that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the playthrough and keep on geeking out, guys.